And that, folks, was at LSU when Nebraska became the 2025 regional champions in Baton Rouge. Just thought we'd get the evening off on a winning start. I am Andy Ketterson. As you know, this is our first episode. We're starting a few weeks early because this season, the way it's going so far, why wouldn't we? And joining me with that glowing smile on her face is Miley Ketterson over there with the resting bitch face. Miley,
You're an
what's
asshole.
wrong? You're just sitting there going like, are you okay? Good.
Yes, I'm
good.
Yeah, I'm fine, Andy. Thank you. Dick.
So, as you can see, we're already in mid-season form. Miley, how you doing tonight? Guys, if you read Miley's, what was it, your first recap or last recap, you would know that her and her fiance, Connor, I've been doing all of the till last week and all of the recaps because Miley and Connor bought their first house and we're moving in the last couple of weekends. How was that experience?
Oh my God, it was awful.
So if Miley wants to go a little early tonight, we're gonna let her. It's been hectic days over at the.
Let's just say we were supposed to close on Friday the 13th, and we didn't get to close until Wednesday of last week. So.
Oh, that got pushed over from Tuesday. I thought you still got to do Tuesday.
Yeah, we got pushed from Tuesday to Wednesday.
Well, I mean, that in my previous life, I was a mortgage underwriter, and so I understand these things. And I was just telling Miley it goes wrong all the time because that first house you buy is incredibly stressful. And
everything was fine on our end. It was the.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's just always something always goes wrong somewhere in a mortgage closing, and but then I'm laughing there. I didn't even realize that you were silly enough to schedule that for the original closing for Friday the 13th.
I know.
What the hell did you think was going to happen?
Our realtor texted us that night. She's like, "I just realized it's Friday the 13th." I was like, "Oh my God! Now I know why everything has gone wrong today." Literally, It all started the night before, but yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Things have definitely not been going too wrong for the Huskers as they got rolling on this season. Right now, here at the present, they are 11-4, and at last week, they went into last week after the first weekend, they beat Texas. They split with Texas. They split with Washington. They beat UT San Antonio, and here they are playing the number 1 team twice, the number 22 team twice. Come out of that 3-2, and I think that they're mostly sitting at number 8 with everybody. And then after the next weekend, they lose to Georgia, but they beat again number 1 Texas Tech, who was 11-0, and they didn't know what to do with. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the day they played Georgia is the day that I accidentally wore my Georgia sweatshirt.
Yeah, this was all your fault. The friend of mine, Chris, he just loves to give me crap, because we grew up with Georgia on mom's side of the family. Dad went there, uncle went there, and our uncle or my Uncle Butch was just a donor and absolute just frothing at the mouth Georgia alumni. And now we're at the point where my uncle was deceased about 10 years ago, and then he had married a woman who was widowed. And her grandson is Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's starting quarterback. So we're still a lot of the way in on Georgia, but hey, it's not Georgia that I'm spending all my spare time with, and going to football games and going to softball. Yes, Nebraska is my number 1, but I never really like it when they play Georgia because that's the little stepbrother that you love him, but he's not quite fully in the family. Although Georgia is fully in the family, so I got to rethink that one.
Yeah, that wasn't a good comparison.
That's terrible. But anyway, so after after the first weekend, they're 3-2, but they've beaten the number 1 team, so they're ranked 8th. And there's 4 polls for whatever weird reason. There's that many polls for softball.
I never know which one to go with. I'm like, what the hell are they actually ranked? They're ranked 4, 6, 8. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and so anyway, after they go 3-2 again, they beat LSU, who's number 10. They beat Texas Tech, who's number 1. They lose to Georgia, and then
beat UCF.
and lost to Tennessee. I beat UCF
And lost to
lost to
Tennessee.
Tennessee, who is now number 1 and still
Yeah.
undefeated. So anyway, the 2 polls, drop them to number 10, since now they're 6-4, and 2 other polls move them up to number 6. So here's where we are now. And there's 4 polls, and there's 7 organizations supporting these polls. We have the ESPN. Let's go from the top down. We have the USA Today, NFCA, that's the coaches poll, coaches federation or whatever. The USA Today, NFCA, they're number 9. So they've moved them up from 10 to 9 for going 5-0 at the Mary Nutter. Run ruling number 11, Texas A&M, or no, run ruling South Carolina, number 13 South Carolina 9-1, and thumping number 11 Texas A&M 8-2. So for that, they get moved up 1 spot to number 9. They went 5-0. They're now 11-4. Then you have the Softball America / On 3 poll. They moved, and that was another one that had them at 10. They moved them up to 8. And this will give you the idea of just how wild this is. Then you have D1 softball that does it on their own, and they're at number 6, which I believe they were at last week. So they go 5-0 and they don't move a spot. They go 5-0, beat 2 ranked teams, and their ranking doesn't change. And then ESPN USA softball has them at number 4 now, 11-4. And I was kind of looking at the polls, and basically it's just the Softball America and USA Today polls are just going almost just straight off losses, 1 loss. So our beating 2 number 1 teams and like one of the 4 losses being to the current number 1 team didn't really mean anything to them. We've got 4 losses, so we're going to be behind everybody until we, find a team until all the 1-2 undefeated 1, 2, and 3 loss teams are out of the way, almost. And then same with Softball America, nudges us up a little. Now, if I'm honest, ESPN's probably overdoing it a little at number 4 because who have we lost to? Number 1, and this is at the time.
Washington, Texas.
Number 22.
Georgia.
Number 1. Yeah, and Georgia.
18.
Yeah, so wait.
Georgia 18.
Yeah, so we lost to then number 1 Texas, now number 1 Tennessee. Georgia was 17 when we beat them, and I think they're up to 15 now.
Washington was 25.
Yeah, they're at like 24 and 25. They were 22 and we played them, but they're like 10-6, so they're also playing a difficult schedule. But then you see like Arkansas at 11-1, but they've played nobody. Texas Tech.
That's what we were doing last year, and there's a reason why.
We were mixing it at least, though. We were going to the Nutter and we were going to Clearwater, but we were also going to New Mexico, where we just steamrolled 4 lousy teams.
Well, she even said that she's going to schedule more of these harder games so that they get more experience and so they have a better chance of hosting too.
Yeah, they just want that RPI as high as they can get it. After when I was down in Knoxville at the game they lost at that post-game press conference, Rhonda was just right then and there. She was just like, I love what Tennessee's fans brought to this, brought the atmosphere they brought, because that was a packed stadium. These guys were out tailgating, 3 or more hours before the game. I hadn't seen anything like that on the road. We don't tailgate like that for softball. And there was one spot with about 6, 7 RVs parked, and they were parked and they were living there for the weekend. So she wants that to happen in Lincoln next year, but to have a chance at that, you've got to finish with an 8 seed or higher when they seed the NCAA tournament.
We need a bigger stadium is what we need too.
Yeah.
Our stadium compared to compared to baseball though.
Yeah. Well, no, but for softball, their stadium's is sized about right with everybody else. Sure, they could expand it again. But the thing is, I think they already expanded it about 600 seats when Jordy transferred.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like the demand was really high when Jordy transferred.
Right, but they were selling out a lot of the games last year. Now that's that's only going to go crazier now when this keeps up. But yes, it's like she wants a shot at hosting a super regional. Of course she wants a regional, but a super regional is kind of the dream. And since I'm going to all these, I would love to stay home for those 2 weekends, especially since they put the Big Ten softball tournament in frickin' Maryland. A team that here we are. This is going to be the second time in the last 3 years that they put it to a school that doesn't really give a 10 shit about softball. and it's going to be the second time in 3 years, unless Maryland is making a heck of a turnaround this year, that the host team isn't going to be playing in the tournament they're hosting. Now, it was really embarrassing for Iowa, which we enjoy, because there were only 14 teams, so 12 of the 14 made it, and so only 2 didn't make it, and they were one of them. Now this year, it's like 5 don't make it because Southern Cal, for whatever weird reason, doesn't have
probably Title IX.
Yeah, but Title IX, you drop boys programs, not girls programs.
But they have to match. You have to have the same number as men's programs as you do women's.
Right, but there's no school, and it's definitely not at athletics.
They might have rowing, they might have rowing or something because they're on the water.
Right, but at no school like Southern Cal that craves sports like they do, are they struggling to have enough men's sports to keep up with the women's sports? It's always having to cut men's sports because they don't have enough women's sports, or you throw softball's one you want because that gives you like a roster of 25.
I mean, Wisconsin doesn't have baseball.
Yeah. But see, that's the men though. But that's the thing. They probably cut baseball or don't have baseball because they have a tough time. Then if you had like 30 scholarship baseball players, then you've got to match that with 30 women's scholarships.
Okay, I'm looking what sports they have.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I'm just saying the issue is never having too many women's sports. It's always the men that have to cut to make sure that the scholarships are evened out. But anyway, we won't have a Title IX fight.
They have water polo, and then USC is a big beach volleyball school, and they have rowing for the women.
But they've got both men's and women's beach, don't they?
No, they just have women's.
Okay.
They have volleyball. They have volleyball, but it's indoor for men's.
Right, but it's still, you're always trying to catch up with the women's sports though because of football, because that's 105. I think that's now like you can go up to 105 scholarships. But anyway,
they don't have soccer either. They don't have men's soccer, but they have women's soccer.
Let's get to softball here. Here's some of the storylines going on now. Another reason they need that tough schedule early is their conference schedule is not good. And here's the thing with the 17 schools, you can only play probably 6 or 7 of them because you've just got to do weekends of 3 games, and you've only got, I think, 6 or 7 of those. So you're not even going to play you're never even going to play half the teams in the league each year. And so this year it's let me get their schedule up here. Where did my women's softball schedule go? Let's see. Oh, I went there. Let's go back. Huskers softball. Okay. Let's just run through the conference schedule this year. The only, I think, decent team and a good team in the conference they're playing this year is UCLA, and that's part of it. The polls coming out tomorrow. I said, if you had to pick which one of these sports, because there's all kinds of Husker sports going on spring game day. Baseball's playing, softball's playing. UCLA, that's a top 10 matchup, and potentially an Elite 8 men's game and a Sweet 16 women's game, depending on if they go that far.
They will.
And we're just, and I was about to say we're going to be positive about that, but Miley just shot that down.
Sorry. Sorry.
So here's
Michigan has kind of gone downhill in softball. It looks like then.
Well, let's see. They won the conference tournament 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that was the year I went up there, and I think they were still tough last year. So we played them first.
Yeah, they were.
That's probably the best fan base in the conference that I've seen is the Michigan fans. They show the games I went to, there were more people at the softball game, and Michigan was playing Ohio State in baseball on the field, right? That like their 2 center field fences touch almost. And there were more people at the softball games than at the baseball games. So they loved their softball there. Then you got Michigan State, not very good. They're bottom. UCLA, good one. Rutgers, not too good. Wisconsin, not too good. And Minnesota, who was okay, but then kind of fell off last year. And then Iowa, who actually got a little better last year. They were horrible 2 years ago. They were decent last year. I think they got their RPI up around 50 or maybe the high 40s. But when you've got Washington, when you've got Oregon that we're missing, God, there's one. Ohio State was damn good last year, and we miss all of those. The only really strong team we're playing is UCLA, maybe Michigan if they bounce back a little. So we've got to have the schedule we're having, because we're not one loss again. If we go goofing around with the bullpen and lose to somebody like Rutgers, that's going to hurt us way more than that Rutgers win could help us out. So anyway, that's another reason we need that, because we should win that conference. We should be Big Ten, not just tournament champs, but Big Ten regular season champs this year. And if that makes you mad, Oregon and UCLA, I don't care. This is my show. This is our show. So kiss our ass.
This is my show. Okay, yeah, Jax, sorry. Vanderpump Rules.
Sorry, I don't know.
You don't get that. You don't get that.
I don't. I don't watch that show. I have no desire to watch that show.
It's a great show.
Yeah, but I'm a guy, so.
Well, sure.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on. The big hole on the roster last year was that number 2 pitching slot. No one could really grab that. This year, taken care of. We've got true freshman Alexis Jensen from Gretna, and she had a rough first weekend, but it wasn't like there wasn't bright spots. She just kept giving up home runs. I think she's given up 9 now in the first 3 weekends, but 5 of those were the opening weekend. And
I mean, Jordy also was struggling that first weekend as well.
Yeah, she's given up a few. No, not that many.
Many, but she's
giving up. But she's always given up the occasional jack. So
I'm just saying she didn't look like Jordy that first weekend.
Well, that first weekend, they were giving up some runs. Well, Alexis had a 7 ERA coming out of the first weekend, but the wild thing was she had 21 strikeouts and no walks in 10 1/3 innings. So, but the problem was with an 0-2 count, she was just firing it down the middle, and they were in welcome to Division I. These are the best of high school. So I think probably what happened was, especially high school, but then even high school travel ball, she goes 0-2, she's just going to blow them away down the middle, because they can't, keep up, let alone deal with her changeup or anything like that. D1 hitters, they teed off. She had 21 strikeouts, like I said, in 10 innings, but also gave up 19 hits and 5 homers in 10 innings, but she learned fast. So where she is now is she's 5-1. Her ERA is down to 3.57. In 31 1/3 innings, she has 55 strikeouts and 4 walks, but she's learned. She's still giving up that. I think she gave up 2 dingers the next weekend and a couple this last weekend, but not as many hits. And she's brought her ratio. And for those of you who don't know, the ratio is just walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. The number is how many runners you let on base in an inning. Hers is 1.318. After that first inning, it was up near 2. Or if that first weekend, it was up near 2. And then Jordy, like you said, her ERA was probably in the 4s. She's now 3-3 with a 1.95 ERA. And weirdly, she's become Alexis's closer. And especially in big games, Alexis will look good 4 or 5 innings, and Rhonda will come get her. In goes Jordy. So Jordy's 3-3, but 5 saves. So she's almost like Randy Johnson and Dennis Eckersley all rolled into one. Baseball references. And so Jordy right now, she's thrown 43 innings and she struck out 57 and only walked 7. And she's got her hits back down to about the number of innings pitched. And her ratio is 1.163, which is good. By the end of the year, she'll probably have that back down to 0900, where she finished last year. And then a nice little surprise in the 3rd spot is Rhonda tried to deny it when Nate Rohr on the radio call in an interview said, "Hey, Hannah really looks to have locked down that number 3 spot." She's like, "Oh no, that's still a work in progress." And it's like, we know why she says that. We won't pick on her, but here's where Hannah is right now. She's 3-0 with a 1.15 ERA. Now she's not a big strikeout pitcher, so she's got 7 strikeouts against 6 walks, but has only given up 15 hits. So she's got a 1.16 ERA, which is ratio, which is very good. And she's thrown 18 innings. And now we've got somebody that we can throw out there with confidence against the not like number 1, number 5, number 11 ranked teams. And that's basically what she did. I mean, we'll be honest, it's like she threw a no-hit shutout, 5-inning shutout, and then a 6-inning shutout against who was it, Seattle? She did the first one against, who was the first weak team they played this last weekend? Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then she pitched the last game against California, and she threw 10 shutout innings. Because Kylie McGee threw the last.
She didn't pitch against California.
The last game of the weekend?
No, California was Alexis and Jordy.
I apologize. The last game I wrote up, and then I was sleeping because somebody got up super early for hockey.
I did too.
And then stayed awake through the first game. So I had a big nap coming, but no. Anyway, so yes, she pitched against Seattle, and Kylie McGee did come in and throw a scoreless inning at the end of that game. But now, yeah, I love the setup. You got Jordy and Alexis, and she's shown she'll pitch Alexis against those number 1 teams in the country, and Alexis will shut them down. Alexis started the Texas Tech game, and then she also and then she like shut LSU down for like 4 or 5 innings, and who was ranked number 10. So yeah, so we've got a 1-2 punch, and that's almost what you need. Like Tennessee just tries to ride Carlin Pickens. They think they're better because they went and got Sage, I think Majeski, Majikowski, something like that, who pitched again, who actually started the game against us. And then they had that 3-run inning, jumped up 4-1, and Karen Weekly was like, go get Pickens in there. Because I think she was just going to go, well, let's just see how this game goes. And then when she saw blood in the water, brought Pickens in to finish it off. And we nicked her a little. She didn't just roll through us like she did in that game 3 last year, but she did shut us out for 3 innings. So that's what's going on with the pitching. And I think that and the fact that we've lost really nothing from the hitting is really what's going to make this team strong. Now, right now, they're only hitting 301, and last year they hit 346. But as Miley pointed out, we're not playing 2 weekends against mostly crappy competition and just teeing off on the pitching. So I like where we are. I really, really like where we are right now. Hitting wise, they going through the Big Ten, they're probably going to run those numbers up some. I don't know if they're getting back to last year's records, but let's put it this way. One thing I wanted to talk about, we've got some batters that were slumping early, just not hitting. Let's just talk about Sammy Bland first, because I feel so bad for her right now. Sammy's probably my favorite player on the team. I just love her energy. She just seems to have one speed, that's full speed ahead. When she's not hitting, she's ripping line drives. Well, she goes 0 for 14 or 0 for 15 the opening weekend. We find out she's like either just off the flu or kind of playing with the flu, I think it was. And then the next weekend, she hits 333, but gets hurt. The shoulder's okay. She just can't. It's the lead shoulder, so they don't want that being jerked around so she can play in the field. It's her non-throwing shoulder. And I think she might have to go 1 more weekend not hitting, and then she should be back full speed. I guess they don't worry about her sliding head first. Holy cow, they've got her pinch running. since she's they're hitting for her, they can slip her in wherever they want as a pinch runner. But yeah, it's like, what a bad break. It's like you get the flu, you're busting out of your slump, you're crushing the ball, and then you hurt your shoulder. And it was on a great catch. I think that was against Tennessee, wasn't it? And they popped up a bunt short, and she just came flying in.
Was that Tennessee?
I think it was Tennessee.
I saw it. I just can't remember who they played.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great catch. She just came flying in from third base and just fully laid out. And then they were looking at her for a while. She finished the inning, and I had to admit, I was kind of happy because then Caitlin Canada got to come in, play third, and then she got to play third. Yeah, started for 2 years. She went through that last year, like got hurt early, was out a lot longer, came back, and then had to have her, I think, wisdom teeth taken out. So then she couldn't play for another week. And at that point, it was Lauren Kamenzon's position, and Lauren Kamenson, holy cow! I mean, her batting average isn't great; it's 286, but Lauren's got 3 dingers already, and a grand slam that broke open that Cal game.
Oh
That,
yeah.
that was the
Yep.
it's like 1-0. They just lost 19-5 to Auburn, and then all of a sudden we're in a 1-0 game with them 5 innings in, and I'm like, what in the blue hell is going on here?
I was
Did
just
you?
waiting. I was in the middle of unpacking and stuff and had to write for the game, so I was like, okay, they're playing Cal. They're just gonna like run the table on them. I'm gonna be done in the fifth inning, and the game goes 7 innings. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, I was I was like texting her. I think I was like woke up, I like looked at the score. What the hell's happening? Because I made like lunch after that, and literally I think 4 innings went by in the time it took me to heat up lunch and eat it. Just heat up some leftovers.
It
So
was slow.
it was flying to me. It was probably just slow and painful because I wasn't watching
It
it.
was like it was like a 2 hour, maybe a little over game.
Well, that 2 hours is fast. That's a fast game.
Really?
Yeah,
There's games I've
two and a
gone
half.
quicker.
It's usually about 2.5. I mean,
Hmm.
still way faster than a baseball game, but
Yeah.
because they always like two of the invitationals now has scheduled the start of one game to the start of the next game at 2.5 hours, and there's always the 30-minute break between games. So I'm like, every one of these games is like starting with the first game. It's just going to run late all day. I mean, 2 hours isn't unreasonable. It can happen, but
No,
it's
it's
not
just because I was unpacking and all that.
right.
I was hoping it'd get done sooner.
Right. Well, anyway, so yeah. Well, anyway, so that's what's going on. But so Sammy's slump was flu induced, and then Hannah Core was hitting 068 when she came to the plate against Texas Tech, and smack. This wasn't any bleeder that got her out of the slump. She ripped one into left. It was the game-winning single, and I think that popped the confidence because she was hitting 068. And that was the last game of the previous weekend, late innings. After this weekend, she's raised that average from from that 068 to 182, and she hit the ball well all weekend. Another one who busted out of it. And I'm going to give my buddy Chris Trappa. If you're watching, screw you. I'm using your name. He told me that he showed me the first week, and he goes, "There's a hitch. He had a name for it. There's a hitch in Ava's swing. You can see it. Watch here." Watch what she does. He kind of laid it out, and he's like, and that's what's wrong. And until she gets rid of that, she's not going to do it. Well, after the second weekend, with Rhonda Revelle being interviewed before the game, she told Nate, it's like, well, Diane Miller's the hitting coach for Nebraska, the assistant coach, and apparently she caught that hitch and said they worked with it, got rid of it. And Ava, who I think was hitting about 130 or 140 after the second weekend, raised her average to 250. She had a big weekend, and I think she had a homer, had a triple in there that just missed being a homer. And so Ava's snapping out of her slump. And the only one who still seems to be kind of in a slump and hitting, I'd say she's hitting 100 points lower than where she ought to be hitting, or at least 80. But Casey Hoffman's still only hitting 257.
Oh, yeah.
It's not awful.
She's not looking like she was last season at all.
No, she's looking like she looked when she was batting against Carlin Pickens and was just waving at stuff. Okay, not that bad, but somewhere in between there. She doesn't look like she's swinging with confidence, I guess would be the best way to put it.
She's just blending in right now.
Yeah, and then Emerson Cope's hitting 261, but Emerson, and I'm trying to think anyone else who'd be DPing there. They've been pushed aside, and I almost waited too long to write the article. I just should have written it after that first weekend when she hit the homer out against UTSA. But even then, I was thinking it's UTSA, big deal. But then she starts at DP against Tennessee, and Carlin Pickens, comes into the game late, and she had an at bat that maybe it's just for a baseball geek like me. It was just. Here's Carlin Pickens, All-American, NCAA record, fastest pitch thrown, 79.4 miles per hour, which looks like a baseball coming at you 15 feet farther away. It's the equivalent of facing a 115 mile an hour fastball. That's the reaction time you have to hit it. And so here comes a freshman, and Muehlbach's story was interesting. She played softball for Gretna, but then they have the travel softball in like the late spring, summer. So softball is like 2 seasons. If you're a softball player, that's like almost a year-round sport for you. But she skipped that, went ahead and enrolled early at Nebraska. Like she was in the same recruiting class as Alexis Jensen and Scarlett Jones, but she sits in there just is going to go that she just goes there last year, red shirt. So, but just does everything in the team, practice, travel, and all that. And so she just wanted to get used to being part of the team. And I think I don't know if they were thinking about this. They probably were. It didn't occur to me so much. You're getting to hit batting practice against Jordy Ball, as you know, and you're a high school senior. Well, next year, here you are in a big game, and Carlin Pickens is on the mound, and you saw how there are a few players in our lineup, and there are players all over the country. Carlin Pickens gets 2 strikes on you. You just see them like they're making up that mind, and they're swinging at that third pitch before it's even left her hand. They're just going to try and guess and hope they get lucky, but they don't want to look silly, and when they do that, they do end up looking silly a lot. She goes up there and the count runs 1-2, foul, and Pickens has to be going, and when she's fouling him off, she's not sticking the bat out there and like dinking on the old stay alive. She is sitting there bearing down and just swinging like she wants to crush it. And she's just fouling most of them straight back. And that's those are the ones that are missing by this much from being over the fence. And I'm like, this does not look like a freshman. And it was probably about a 5-minute at-bat, felt like it. And then she takes ball 2. And then she fouls 2 more off. And then she takes ball 3. And then she takes ball 4. And she's up there against Carlin Pickens and her fastball. She's watching. She is focused in. And I was like, this is a different kid. And we can talk about all the reasons why that might be, the joining the team early. And then I wait till Wednesday. And I was like, then she hits the ball real well the next 2 games. And she's the DP now. She's been the DP now. I think that was like for 7-8 straight games now. She is starting. She is pushing a really good hitter, Emerson Cope, out of that spot right now. And they let Emerson like pinch hit for her late in one of those, 2 games against Seattle or Cal. And it was just one of the most impressive things I've seen, but it wasn't a fluke. And I did an article just like, invest in Carly Muehlbach stock now because she's not going to be a secret much longer. Yeah. What is she hitting? She's hitting, she's hitting 444. That's just the batting average. She's walked like 6 times and been hit twice. So her on base percentage is 615. That's like a men's slow pitch softball hitting stat for a really good hitter, because she's getting on base over 60% of the time, when getting on base 30% of the time means, oh, you're good. You're a 300 hitter. That's nuts. And then she's got 2 homers now, I think. Or does she just have the 1? And her OPS, and like an OPS over 1 is insane. I think Jordy's last year was like 1.3 something, just ridiculous. Hers right now is 1.393, and this is a freshman. And she has an arm. She threw a runner out stealing against UTSA. And so, but we've got Jessie Farrell, who's got 6 homers and 16 RBIs, and she's hitting 320. And her on base isn't that great. She's not taking walks, but her slugging so high, her OPS is over 1. It's like 1.153. Then you have Hannah Kamenzen, who's leading the team in hitting, 412. Yeah, her average is still where it was, as if they're playing the New Mexico the teams in New Mexico. And last year just seemed like she was doubling every time she got a hit. Hannah's already got 5 doubles. She's got a couple homers. Her OPS is over 1. And of course, Jordy's only hitting 390 after hitting about 440 last year. But her OPS is even higher because she has walked a bunch. She's been hit 6 times, and that counts in your on base in softball. Yeah, she's been hit 6. I saw Miley's eyes go, what the fuck? Yeah, so they like to pitch her inside, though. They think they like to pitch her inside so she doesn't get to extend, because that's the thing is, she's kind of tall, well, not super tall, but lanky, and gets those arms out there and gets the whip going. So they like to try to jam her. But in softball, you try to jam somebody, you're throwing inside a lot. In softball, they don't have to try and get out of the way, and you're going to get doinked a lot. So her OPS is even higher than the last year's. It's 1.447. She has the same number of homers and RBIs as Jessie Farrell. And Jessie Farrell seems to be a fine pickup because she's throwing people out. The thing she's doing that's going to be fun this year, and she's done it once, is the runners on first will take off, after the pitcher lets go of it, and she'll sit there, just turn and throw a snap throw behind him at first. And she has come close a bunch. And then I think it was against Washington in their last game that somebody snuck off a little too far. Pitch came in, she fired it down to first, and Bella just swung around, put the tag on him. And you're going to see her get, I'm going to say like 3, 4, or 5. I'll say 4 of those she'll get this year. So she's got the arm. That was my biggest worry, was replacing Ava Breadwell's arm. No, consider it replaced. Farrell has a cannon, and if anything happens to her, Carly Muehlbach has a cannon, and we're in good shape. Let's see. I think that about covers it for me. Yeah, for Sammy Bland, I just in my note was like, poor Sammy. Poor Sammy, flu, shoulder. So hopefully we'll have Sammy back swinging fully healthy in a couple weeks. But that's it. This weekend, I'm heading down to Stillwater, Oklahoma. They decided to turn just a 3-game set with Oklahoma State, which was on the original schedule. They added 2 games in Tulsa, which is just like an hour away. And they're going to play back-to-back games against South Dakota State and Tulsa, obviously. Some people hear South Dakota State and go, there's an easy one. Yeah, last year, South Dakota State took them to extra innings twice. They play in the Summit Conference with UNO. UNO's been getting votes in the polls. Let me take a quick peek, see if they got any this week. But yeah, they South Dakota State, Emerson Cope saved their butt last year in Wichita. They were down a run going into the 7th, and Nebraska batted in the top of the 7th, and with 2 outs and I believe 2 strikes, Emerson just railed one over the right center field fence. It probably cleared the fence by 10 feet, but went about 50 feet beyond. It was just a rope, and then they won in extra innings. And then they come back and play. And were you at that game with me? The one where South Dakota State was in Lincoln, and it was kind of chilly out. But here we are down, or I can't
so.
It's just we were up by 2, and then their number 9 hitter, South Dakota State's number 9 hitter, with like a 164 batting average, comes up against Jordy and just blasts one over the left field fence, and that one went extra innings, and we won. So I'm just saying, stick around and if that South Dakota State game's on, you might want to watch it. I think they're all on ESPN Plus, or at least the Oklahoma State ones are. But yeah, you might want to watch South Dakota State. That was a little more exciting than it should have been. Let's see. I'll try and check that. That's just 2 quick things. I want to see who's televising that one. Yeah, it looks like that one's just the Oklahoma State ones will be on ESPN Plus, but the ones in Tulsa will only be on radio. They will not be streamed. So let's see. I just want to see if our UNO Mavericks got any votes this week, and that should pop right up. Yeah, there is no RPI yet, by the way. Somebody had asked me what our RPI was. They want a good number of games in the hopper, because the RPI gets more accurate just the more games you play, and you have just the more evidence you have. So let's see. Did they get any Omaha? Nope. I don't know if they lost or something, but no votes this week for UNO, at least in that poll. But they've still got what? Do you remember the UNO pitcher's name? It's Maddie something. But
I can't remember her last name.
She's one of the better pitchers in Division I, regardless of Summit League or any of that. So they'll be playing I think they have a weekend where they play a pair against UNO and somebody else, and one of those UNO games is going to be a tough win. I think last we got to him because Olivia DiNardo bopped a grand slam out on her, and we beat him like 5-1 or something like that. And I guess Olivia DiNardo is hurt, and I'm going to try and get more info on that this week. I just keep forgetting to ask, but she might be out for the year. Because she hasn't played, she hasn't even taken a swing yet. And if she's going to miss a great amount of time, I think softball, like the women getting screwed and just about all their other sports, it's one of those things where, hey, football gets to play 4 games and let you
No.
redshirt.
They want to play 9 games, but still take a red shirt.
That's where I was going. I was thinking now they want to play 9 games.
That's
But
insane.
volleyball, softball, I think
Basketball.
basketball they do it. If you just step on the field for a pitch for any time on the clock going off or whatever, you burn that red shirt. It's like the old red shirt rules. Well, they're making special exceptions just for football. I will make a call right now. They will have that not happening anymore by the end of 2026, or else they're going to find themselves in court again. And what does the NCAA do when they go to court? Lose.
Well, they're going to have like 30-year-olds playing college football.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already damn near close to it.
No, you only get the 1 year. The only reason it got as bad as it did
COVID.
was, you had the COVID year. Because what you can do, if you have the COVID year, that gave them like 7 years you could be there. Because you could go your 4 years.
Well, and all the medical red shirts that people take too.
But you can only do that once too. That I was going to include that. You can have
you can get like a waiver too.
Yeah, but not beyond those years though. You can do 4 years of regular playing. The fifth COVID year, which is we're about out of that now. But so nowadays you can go 4 years, play 1 red shirt, 1 medical red shirt, and you can't go beyond.
So why are guys playing 9 seasons then?
They're not. Nobody's played 9 seasons. You'd have to find that for me. Nobody. There was everybody playing 7 seasons because they were doing their 5 years with COVID, medical, and perfect example was our linebacker. Dad played.
Miami Hurricanes tight end Cam McCormick will return for historic 9th season playing college football when the 2024 campaign kicks off.
I'd love to see how they break that down, because I don't think I think that was like kind of made up. Because you can only have one.
2016 he redshirted. 2017 he redshirt freshman. 2018 injury ended season.
You can't redshirt. Okay, redshirt freshman. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah. 2019 he missed the season for injury. 2020 was COVID, provides extra year. 2021 missed the season for injury. 2022 played 7 games. 2023 played 5 games.
So they let him. They let him play beyond the clock with the injuries. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and they're not supposed to do that. So maybe he got waivers there, but he wasn't getting any more playing time though. He still only got to play the 5 years. So yeah, that's maybe what I should say is beyond the 5 years, they're not supposed to go, because the rule, they tried to get a rule where they were going to try and get rid of the medical and the 2 year, like the 2 redshirt seasons. And they were going for a 5 years of 5-year clock, 5 years of eligibility, and that got voted down. And the thing was, there'd be no more red shirts. You got 5 years to do it. If you get hurt, you get hurt. And I'm wondering if the players wouldn't have liked that. But anyway, trying to think anything else. I think that's it. And we're right on the 45-minute mark. So we're going to get out of here. Hey, I want to thank everybody watching. I know today was kind of a last minute thing. So those of you that caught it and joined us, I appreciate you. Couldn't get logged in. My email thing flared up again. I've just got to get rid of that Hotmail address because it's apparently affecting mailing lists.
Just get Gmail.
And it'll just, I do. I already have it. I've already got it set up. Good to go.
Good.
But yeah,
good job.
But apparently this one just it kicked me off, because this is the first time since StreamYard is the platform we use for the podcast here, and I had just literally since I logged into it when I did my first show, I'd never logged in again, and I'd be a couple months off, get back in, boom, and all of a sudden it's not there. So I'm like, okay, log in, and I knew it was the same thing because it happened with, hey, we're sending you an email back with your login code, and it just wasn't coming. And I'm like, John, switch me out. So we now have, I got to get one of those signs that was like, I have had 0 technical difficulty. I've had, X number of days or shows without technical difficulties, and we're back at 0, but we did get the show off the ground tonight. I'm going to let Miley go because her life's insane right now. But Miley, you've got another weekend off. I figured you wouldn't be exactly disappointed to not be writing this weekend. I'll get you guys covered from Oklahoma State. Maybe I'll do a couple little videos after the game, like John does. See if I can come a little unhinged and. But no, I don't want to do when John comes unhinged, things explode. If he's watching, hey, we got a few comments. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Andy, Nebraska strong, go Big Red. Hey, thanks for commenting. I'd almost forgotten about those nights. The national media and the AP has hated Nebraska since the 90s. I don't even know which of these to call the AP. I don't even know if the AP does softball, but in our world, it's USA Today and the NFCA. It's the coaches poll, not the writers. It's the coaches. They don't believe in us, and they're not putting any time in. There's old Connor. Sko Skets. Is that supposed to be Sko Skurs? Is T next to? Yep, T's right next to the R. So on the keyboard, so that's probably supposed to be Sko Skurs. Let's go in. Let's do this.
We'll go to the next comment.
I am. What do we got here?
It says Skurs.
I'd like to see Andy try to hit a Miley fast pitch softball, and guessing that Andy would be a strikeout victim. I think you'd be guessing wrong. Miley, have you ever pitched fast pitch?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, I'd crutch Miley.
I'm not good at the basketball, the softball, the volleyball. Right. Those aren't my sports. The ball sports.
No,
I didn't want to say it like that, but
you're a puck sport kind of person. Yeah. Here's one here for you, though, that if he wants to throw the challenge out, here's who you can go get, and that's Liv. Go get Liv Farrell. Liv played a lot of hockey with Miley, and she was also the Huskers pitching ace when they won the Big Ten tournament in the first live sporting event I ever covered, which got me addicted to softball. Yeah, if you have Liv throw some fast pitches to Andy, Andy is going to be a strikeout victim.
Andy's going to pee his pants.
My hope would be to foul a couple off. I don't know if I can hit. I'm no stranger to swinging a bat, but if I was a betting man and on my end doing as best I could, I believe that Liv is just going to make mincemeat of me because she can move that ball around a little. So anyway, that's it. Well, maybe Connor can tell us what's Cam McCormick mean?
It's the guy we were talking about, the 9 seasons of eligibility.
Oh, the 9 season guy. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's our show for the evening. We will be back next week. Let's see. I should probably let me say something. It looks like Monday Night Therapy might be on a break. I think they've taken like a month off. So I don't know when they'll get going again, but definitely just check on the YouTube Live Corn Nation channel. They'll warn you there. But then on Thursdays, 5 Heart Podcast with Greg and Minnie still going strong. So be sure to catch that Thursdays. And I believe that's at 9 p.m., not 8 p.m. That's a 9 p.m. And other than that, I think we are done. We'll be back in a week. Miley, anything to say to everybody as we go off the air?
Go Big Red.
Go Big Damn Red. Let's see if we can rack up 5 more. Oklahoma State's hot right now. I meant to talk about them. I won't go, but I think they've moved up to like number 13 in the rankings, and they were in the 20s. So that's a place that lives and breathes softball. So look for some good games this weekend. Good night, y'all. Love you. Thanks. Thank you, Miley. Enjoy the weekend off and come back strong next Tuesday. All right. See y'all later.